Good evening, everybody. Thank you for taking your time to join us today. We are really grateful that you're attending our webinar. I am Sevgi Konila, oenologist and viticulturist and founder of A Wine Idea. As you know, we are currently celebrating Spanish Food and Wine Week here in Ireland. Thanks, as always, to the Spanish Embassy in Ireland for their support. Today's topic is actually one that has attracted an incredible amount of interest recently. We're going to talk about indigenous grape varieties of Spain. So indigenous or native, so means that they are grown in Spain and they're native varieties to Spain. The webinar should take an hour with 10 minutes extra at the end for your questions. Please submit your questions for speakers via Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. We are absolutely delighted to have such a great panel of experts with us today. I'm sure it's going to be an amazing session. But first, let me introduce, guys, our speakers. So we have Dave Rolls, UK Sales Manager of Bodegas Riojanas. Hi, Dave.
Hi.
And we have Mar Dopazo. She's the Area Manager of Bodegas Terras Gauda.
Good evening,
And we have, hi Mar. And we have Ángeles Jiménez Alonso. She's the Export Manager of Bodegas Alberto. Hello.
Good evening.
And we have Noelia Callejo. So we are still waiting for her. I think she should be here hopefully soon. So she's the winemaker of Bodegas Felix Callejo. And then we have Albert. Hello, Albert.
Hello, how are you?
Dane, he's the owner and winemaker of Acústic Cellar. So thanks so much for our excellent panelists for giving up their time today. And I will hand over now to Dave from Bodegas Riojanas, who will be talking about their wines, but also especially the varieties Godello, Tempranillo Blanco, and Alvarinho. So it's over to you, Dave, please.
Hi, okay, thank you. Yes, at Bodegas Riojanas, we have wineries across the northwest, so from Galicia all the way through to Cava. So if we look at our wines in Monterrey, which is Godello, and also we have Alvarinho from Rías Baixas. The Alvarinho grape is seen very much as one of the premium grapes in Galicia, along with Godello. We're very proud that we work with various people in the region where our expertise is used to help grow the vines and produce the wines. In Rioja, we have just started producing Tempranillo Blanco, which is an interesting variety in that the actual, if you like, Blanco as a grape variety was only discovered in 1988. So between 1988 and up to the current time, the plantings of Tempranillo Blanco are now 12.5% of all the white wines grown in Rioja. So it's increased very dramatically. It's because it's a very convenient grape. It's like Tempranillo itself in the way in which the wine and the grape and the variety will be, shall we say, handled in the vineyards. So we have to be a bit careful with things like oidium, mildew, rot occasionally. It's quite hardy. It produces good alcohol levels. It has a great affinity with oak. In that you have Hi.
Is okay? Everything okay?
Yeah, I'm still back.
All right.
Yeah, so Tempranillo Blanco, we produced our first vintage this year, but our colleagues around us, people like Rioja Vega, have been producing Tempranillo Blanco for about 6 years now. And as producers, for example, they like the use of oak, where they use new barrels that are steamed. And we, with our whites, it's a a blend between unoaked and oaked, where the barrels are steam cleaned rather than poured traditionally, so we don't over oak the wine. So it's an interesting varietal that's slowly developing in the UK, and it's going to be an interesting next couple of years as, if you like, Tempranillo Blanco is being seen as increasing in vineyard area and possibly driving away some of the other varieties like Verdejo, like Sauvignon Blanc, Chardonnay that have been permitted in Rioja. With Verdejo, I'm sure my colleague Ángeles will be far more informative than I do with actually the Verdejo grape. We have our winery in Riore, which is in Rueda, where we produce 3 100% Verdejo wines. And therefore, it's a variety that when it's young is very, very fresh, but when the vines are old, you end up with some very, really rich, runctuous wines that still have incredible acidity. It's a style that is the major white grape, probably still in provenance in Spain, as one of the major reasons for whites. When we go across to Galicia, then we're in a situation there where we've been for must be 25 years now with Alvarinho, and the last 3 to 4 years we've now been working with Gadeo, Triasadura, Mencia, Uxura, which is another name for Tempranillo in Galicia. So the Gadelo wine has been very popular in the UK now for nearly around about 15 to 20 years, in very small numbers, but very high concentration in terms of juice and flavour. It's a variety that is very suitable in the UK to restaurants due to its like and ability to transpose with food quite easily. Other varieties that are a bit more unusual are, for example, in Rioja, you have Matarana, which is about 0.1% of the vineyard area, blows Tinto and Blanco. And we have another grape that people do grow, again, at very, very small volumes, which is pronounced Torontes, but not the Torontes style that is forever in Spain and also in Argentina. And again, the volumes here are very low. The wines are very aromatic and often used to put in the background on the blends. So that's where we are as a company in terms of what we do. The policy for us is very simple. Whatever we do every year, we simply try to improve the quality of the vineyards, quality of the grapes, and the quality of the juice. We're not producers that go out for volume. We crop heavily. With Rioja, for example, the legal limit is 9 tonnes per hectare. We go at 6 tonnes per hectare, and often we're around about to around about 4 if we need to, due to the different constraints of the vintages. So we're very heavily in concentration. We vie in Rioja very much towards Reserva and Grand Reservas. And we also, in Ribera and in Toro, we use a good mixture of American and French oak when we're aging. Any questions?
Let me just have a look if we have any questions from our attendees. Any questions, anybody? You can type on the Q&A session, so I will be looking at it. So if you have any questions, you can have them here. Not at the moment. Not at the moment. But if you guys have any questions, please do type on the Q&A session. So you will see a Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. So we can also answer them later on. So yeah, thank you so much, Dave, for great information. And it's very interesting. And also just to let everybody know that if they're trying to find those wines from Bodegas Riojanas, so they are available in Ireland, so you can find them in O'Brien's Wines. So O'Brien's Wines are widely available, I think, in most counties in Ireland. So yeah, so definitely. Thanks, Dave.
No problem.
Okay. Any questions from our speakers, maybe? Anybody wants to have any comment, any questions? not, we continue now with Mar Dopazo. Welcome, Mar, again. So she's the area manager of Bodegas Terras Gauda, and she'll be talking about Mencia, Alvarinho, and Tempranillo Blanco. That's actually very rare varieties, and it's like to me, I never tasted that before, so I'm really excited for that. So it's over to you, Mar. Thank you.
Thank you, FG. Thank you, Dave. Perfect accent, really. Basically,
I have a studious boss.
Fantastic, fantastic. Well, what I can tell you is it's fantastic being here. It's this beautiful vineyard, almost real, that I have behind me. I only hope one day I can take you all home and see this beautiful vineyard with your own eyes. So yes, my name is Mar. I've been for the last 13 vintages working for Terras Gauda Group in Rosal, in the north of the wall, in the northwest of Spain, last corner bordering with the Minho River with Portugal. So we are located in an area oceanfront, so we can see the ocean from the vineyards. We have the river influence. We are mountain covered. We are facing Portugal. So it's a unique place, and it's also one of the stops of the Camino de Santiago, this famous way that for some reason it's becoming so popular during the last years. Irish are coming and passing through our vineyards to see obviously to go to the Camino, but also to taste our gastronomy and, by the way, some wine. So this is our location, and talking a little bit about what we are. Terras Gauda was started in 1989 with 37,000 bottles. And last vintage, 2021, which has been finished harvest last Friday, we will be able to produce 1.9 million bottles of Rías Baixas of premium quality. And what to say in premium quality? Why? Because we are like this way? No, because we believe in family-owned vineyards, in controlling the vineyards, in investing in a state vineyard, and being able to produce less, but being able to create more quality. I believe that's the trend of this panelist. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here, no? And basically, talking about the grape varieties, we talk about this Alvarinho that they just put the thing very easy for me. Alvarinho is made in this tiny northwestern region of Rías Baixas. We have 5 sub-regions here, and the biggest is Salnés. For some chance, Terras Gauda is located in the southernmost part, which is, the name is Rosal. Here, we do not only make Alvarinho. We have these very unique, rare varieties that like Tempranillo Blanco, and we recovered it from extinction and we blend it. So we are kind of an exception in all the Rías Baixas that we kind of champion Alvarinho. And in a way, we try to also champion these little tiny varieties that are in our state and that's been in our heritage forever. Coming back to Alvarinho, the tasting profile, it's easy to explain for Irish people because you have this Chardonnay that can be, is very more aseptic, more structured. Maybe Alvarinho is not as mineral as the Riesling. Maybe it's not wild or herbal as Sauvignon Blanc, no? Alvarinho is more citrus, peachy, maybe slightly almondy. So in the texture could be light because most of them, they don't pass through oak, but also have this crisp zestiness, no? To this typical Alvarinho from the region of Rías Baixas. The wine is usually drunk young, but some of them, they can be aged very well. And obviously they go perfectly well with seafood, lobster, any kind of seafood, oysters. Some Irish oysters that we have here are beautiful as well. And definitely it's a wine that is perfect to enjoy in a sunny day. Talking about this Caíño that Seppi was asking, Caíño is a very tiny little variety. The production per hectare is less than 5 kilograms. Whereas in Alvarinho, you can get up to 10 or 12 in Pergola. We produce, well, we have here like the vast majority of Caíño Blanco because we replanted it. And it's the variety that the better extracts the terroir, no? It gives all the structure, it gives all the minerality, the saltiness, and on the top of that is very rich. So Caíño Blanco bunches are really, really small, and Alvarinho, even though they are also small, they get a little bit more yield per bunch. It's the perfect for aging because of the acidity. So it is a blend between an acidity and a structure. In Terras Gauda, we made a blend, and you cannot see it because in the later, but in Terras Gauda, we made a blend, and this, maybe you can see it here. The 10% of this of the blend, it's Loureiro, which is also a very famous variety, and 22% is Caíño Blanco. The rest, the vast majority is Alvarinho. And just to finalize, because I have 2 minutes left.
No rush.
Yeah, good, good. You
No
told
rush.
me, yeah, because we kind of speak a little here.
Yeah. You're not in a rush, you know.
So, well, basically, this kind of Alvarinhos that we have in our region, we blended, but we also have 100% Alvarinho typical from the region. Any Alvarinho from Rias Baixas that you guys see there, it's guaranteed 100% quality. Alvarinho at Rias Baixas, and it's very important the sense of praise. You wouldn't get the same thing, the soil, you wouldn't get the salinity, you wouldn't get the terroir in other place than in Rias Baixas, in this area. And very close to Rias Baixas is Mencía, and it's also a red variety authorized in Rias Baixas appellation. However, the typical Mencía comes from a little bit more inland. If you follow the River Miño, you will get the spring of another river that just ends in Miño River. It's called Sil. And alongside the Sil, you get to Bierzo. So you get Mencía is the main red variety there. And what you will see in Mencía, you will see in Ribeira Sacra, in Valdeorras, in like very fashionable now regions in Galicia. What is Mencía? Well, better an example. This is Mencía.
Oh, that's great.
So you will see it's thick skin. There's very, very tiny small bunches. I just been yesterday in Bierzo, so I stole some of them. Mencía is spicy, it's tasty, it's fruity. It's the typical Mencía profiles. It's flowery when you go closer to the ocean. Ribeira Sacra are more flowery, lighter, very elegant, very violetty. If you take your Mencías from inland Spain, like Bierzo, you will get more structured, juicier, more fruity kind of style Mencías. The ripening is maybe better, or maybe is higher temperature, so you will get like more juicy kind of Mencías. However, the Mencía, any Mencía you will get in these areas are also really, really, really characterized by the soil, which is most of the time slaty. So these roots, they get into the soil and they bring all the minerality and all the depth and all the complex to a Mencía wine. In our Terras Gauda appellation, in our Terras Gauda group, we own a winery called Pitacu. It's located in the beautiful Bierzo region in León, and I encourage you to go because it's honestly now in autumn with the change of colors, it's beautiful. So, and just to finalize, just to wrap up, I will tell you that a Mencía will go perfect with a roasted chicken, will be perfect with an Irish stew because of the acidity, because of the structure, because of the smokiness and the spiciness at the end. So I would recommend you to have to drink Mencía with any Irish dish. They are just meant to each other. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Mar. I actually have a question quickly here. For the Caíño Blanco, do you do like a single varietal 100% bottles with that? Yeah.
Very good question. Yes, it looks like we arranged it beforehand. No, actually, yes, we were able to do it like 6 vintages ago. We were able to produce the first 100% Caíño Blanco in the region. It's called La Mar. nothing to do with me. It's the mar is the sea and it's the ocean, and yes, we were able to do it. It's a very interesting wine. It's also available in Ireland through our importer that I think I've never mentioned it. It's Classic Drinks.
Classic Drinks, right?
Located in Cork. And through them, you can get La Mar. It's very unique cuvee. It's very unique for people that they really want to go really into the region and get to know the area.
Yeah, I think that I just read on your website was one of the forgotten grapes, and then you kind of brought it back to life. It was kind of like a project.
Because it makes sense, because it's such a very low yield grape variety. It was very difficult to produce. So people would invest in maybe more interesting varieties in terms of volume. So once you own your vineyard, you can afford doing these kind of things. Or this is what we've done.
Yeah, thank you so much. So just to mention again, so you can find wines from Bodegas Terras Gauda from Classic Drinks. So they are importing the wines, but also they resell it to other stores. So at the end, I might send all of our attendees a list where they can find those wines. So so don't worry now if you forget where can I find it. I didn't hear, so I will be sending an email later on, so with the list where you can actually find those wines. So thanks, Mar, again, that was really interesting. So now we will have Ángeles Jiménez Alonso. So she's the export manager of Bodegas de Alberto. She will be talking about Verdejo from Rueda. So it's over to you, Ángeles. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be today with you. Well, yes, I'm coming from here, from the center of Spain. I'm working for Bodegas de Alberto. We are in Rueda region. The appellation of origin Rueda is in the center of Spain. It would be a bit north of the central plateau. And yeah, under the influence of Duero River, no, same great, fantastic river that goes through Portugal and Spain and gives these fantastic wines. No, well, our winery is a family business. It's a family winery from that was established in 1939. It's one of the oldest in this area. And actually, we are located in a monastery. It's a monastery from the 17th century, established by Dominican monks. And yeah, and we have a great underground cellars, very, very impressive. Actually, it's like our treasure. And yeah, it's a quite unique place. We actually are in the heart of the appellation Rueda. The town is called Cerrada, and Cerrada, La Seca, and Rueda make this, as it is called, a golden triangle in the center of the appellation, mainly because of the quality of the soil and for the tradition of the plantation there, the vineyards, where are some of the oldest in the region. Today I will focus in Verdejo, even though there are other, of course, varieties accepted in Rueda, even though red varieties. But Verdejo is really the most special one here. Is the king, is the local native grape in Rueda. And I think it's worthy to make focus in this grape because the influence of the time and the adaptation during centuries, I think it makes a big difference in this Spanish grape. Well, this grape was brought from the north of Africa, actually, as it is known by the documents, historical documents, and it's more than 10 centuries since the grape is in this land, in this region, in Rueda. I think this is very important because the adaptation of the grape is you can feel it in every glass of the wine. You know, it's very important regarding the climate. You can see how the influence of this weather. No, we are in Mediterranean climate, but under the influence of the Atlantic. And you can feel now in the harvest and during the summer when the grapes are maturing, it's really amazing how the temperatures can go really high during the day with very sunny days, and by night they go down extremely. So the difference of temperatures are crazy, sometimes almost 20 degrees of the difference day. It's Celsius in this case, and it's really impressive. So the maturity of the grape is perfect, and also the preservation of the acidity makes a great balance in our wines. Also the soil is very important, and the vines are really adapted to it. The soils are sandy and stony, and also I would like to focus in the strength of these vines, no, because Verdejo is really resistant. It's very strong, you know, and also this can affect also the production of the organic wines. For example, today I will give an example with our the Alberto Ecológico Verdejo, which is distributed in Ireland, and the adaptation to organic systems and the normative of the organic agriculture under the European regulations is not that hard in our area, because the vines are really healthy, because the water is very well sewer system is perfect. And they are very healthy and strong vineyards. So I think it can also make a difference. I would like also to make a focus in also how polyvalent is this grape. Well, Verdejo, I will give you like a short explanation about the tasting, because I think it must go first. To Verdejo mainly, maybe you have taste. I don't know. I know in Spain, of course, it's like a big deal. You know, you can find Verdejo wines all around our geography. The success is impressive, and it's being known more and more also in the international markets. But to give you an idea about the features of this wine, I would say. And it's no, I didn't make it up. It's like a saying of our public, also from, mainly from the Anglo-Saxon countries, that used to compare Verdejo with Sauvignon Blanc, saying that it's like a Sauvignon Blanc with an attitude. Okay, it can be said like that. Both are aromatic grapes, and Verdejo stand up for a quite full body feeling. You know, the acidity is perfect. They are very well balanced wines, and in the aromas, they are very intense. The intensity of the aromas is quite high. It's a very fresh, in this case, it's very fresh wine, because it can be said that this is a young wine, but we work a little bit on with the lees. The aromas evolve a little bit, but you mainly will find white fruits like apple, a little bit stone fruits, like peach, some citrus, you can feel, and they're very characteristic. The anisette aromas and fennel is very typical from the Verdejo. And well, in the mouth, there is notes of fresh fruit comes again, and with some silkiness as well in the palate. It's a quite elegant and unctuous wine with good structure and persistence. It's quite aromatic in that sense. This is like a typical Verdejo premium wine, no? Regarding the pairing, this is ideal to share with light dishes, with rice, salad, seafood, of course, fish, and also as an aperitif. But here I would like to speak about this polyvalent character of Verdejo. In Spain, we mainly drink the young, fresh, and very fruity Verdejo wines. It's like the consumer favorite. But I would like to focus in Verdejo is really polyvalent, this grape. You can elaborate these young, fresh, and fabulous wines, but you can also work on the leaves. And maybe like this wine, that it can be like more gastronomic wine, more for pairing with a whole menu with more greasy or spicy food. We also do oak fermented wines. We work like in this Bourgogne style white wines with oak, the fermentation, always in new French oak barrels. And then like an aging of around 7 months. And the variety still keeps the grape, and the balance with the wood is really amazing. But I would like to introduce you also to certain wines that are liquorized wines, like sherry style wines, which are, well, we have our Dorado here, which is like the most known and maybe most awarded wine in this category in Rueda. We are like the maximum representative of this style of wines in the area, even if it's a very small production and a rare category because it's almost unknown, you know. But in Rueda, actually, this kind of wines, of historical wines, were the origin of the appellation, actually. From the 15th century, they were like the court wines in the Catholic king's court. So this is like the beginning of everything. After that, of course, in the 20th century, in the 70s, the tastings of the consumer changed, and everybody loves the young, fresh, modern white wines. But before that, the Verdejo in Rueda was like this, with this color.
Bottle, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah. Now we are in a pleasant moment because we are like having all the awards and all the appreciation of the public with these wines that for us are like the grandparents' wines that we kept as a heritage. And now the consumer is having them more in the mind, and they have the curiosity to find out about these wines and going back to the origin. Well, with all this, I don't want to bore you, but I meant that Verdejo is a really polyvalent grape for high quality premium wines. So it's a wide range of different elaborations, and it's amazing. This grape is really unique, and the best place for this is the origin and this region in Rueda, no? For this adaptation, the heritage of the elaboration well, the way, the culture of elaboration here, and this knowledge, no, this know-how also like in these wines, I think is a immaterial heritage we should keep. So
very interesting.
Thank you. I don't know if is there any question there.
Yeah, I have one question actually. So, like in the past, there will be like Verdejo oxidative style or sherry-like style. Now it moved a bit more to the, much clearer style. But what do you think in the export market, that are people kind of trying to go back to the traditional style? Are they any interest in that style, or are they more looking into more clean style of a Verdejo, or the oak version? How does people often find it? Because I think, as you were mentioning, Verdejo will be known more with that oak aging, much the kind of refreshing, kind of clean style. But how is the consumer finding these differences? What are their preferences when they look for different types of Verdejo?
Okay, yes, well, I think, of course, the modern, fresh, clear, fruity, young Verdejo style, it would be the ruler of the market, no? Also internationally and also in Spain. The big success of our wine and Verdejo in this style of elaborations, I think is something, well, very, very interesting, because I think that the strength of the grape can be shown in the modern elaborations, and the tastings of the consumer now, I think, goes in that direction. But of course, for this kind of wines, there is always a small part of the market, and that's what we want, actually, because we only produce 5,000 bottles.
Oh,
so we cannot, and we don't want to do more, because we have a Solera systems, and all that barrels it is what it is. We won't do, we won't increase the production at all. So there are different consumers for different places, for different moments, but this kind of Verdejo wine, I think, is the king in the markets right now. This is, as I said, this is in Ireland, where the Alberto organic, and O'Brien's is our importer. So if anybody has any doubt where to find it, of course, I can give you all the information you need.
Yeah, no, I would quite agree with you, Ángeles. The Verdejo, we produce basically 3 styles. So we've just brought out what you mentioned, which is Sobre Lias, aged on its lees.
Yeah.
So that for this year, new vintage, is what we've just done with Fiore. So we now have a young wine which is Verdejo, about 20 years of age. We have a Verdejo of about 50 years of age, and we now have the Sobre Lias, and the styles are very different. The what I would call the aged the Verdejo is very rich. The way you describe it as being very akin to Sauvignon Blanc, because it does have those herbaceous characters, makes it highly drinkable, and it's well loved in Rioja. If you go to Logrono, you will find Verdecos in virtually every tapas bar, and it's quite normal. It's a very normal thing to find. So yeah, it is the major white export grape for Spain, really.
Yeah, I think it's one of the really well-known regions, like Rioja, and for the white varieties, Verdejo. I think it's well known, I think, in Ireland as well. Actually, we have here a few comments and questions I might quickly go over. So Tirish says that she's actually having today one of the wines from you, Ángeles. So she says it's a very nice wine. It's a lovely wine. And then another question that we have here, that they didn't catch, what is the appellation, what is the DO? So you may repeat, Ángeles, where the winery was maybe located again, and what appellation, which DO the winery was located.
The DO is called Rueda. Okay. And yeah, we are a bit north of Madrid in this Valladolid province area. Well, Valladolid, Segovia, and Ávila. But our town is Cerrada. It's a small town, and we are under the influence of Duero River. And yeah, Rueda, Verdejo from Rueda.
Thank you very much. And then Rose says that another question for you, Ángeles. The sherry style wines, are they Solera age or en rama? So how you aging the sherry style wines? What system you using?
Yeah, Dorado is 100% oxidative aging. We don't do like a biological aging on the velo de flor. That's another historical category in Rueda, which is called pálido, pale. But Dorado, we start the oxidation in demi-jones, these glass carafes, the vintage glass carafes for the old transportation of the wine. Well, we have more than 4,000 outdoors. So we fill the demi-jones and we left the wine there for 1 year under the sun, changes of temperature. And then we go for the barrel system. In our barrel aging, we continue the oxidation, of course, and we have 2 steps. The first one will be like 12 months in oak, again like Botas Jerezanas, is 600 liters capacity barrels, and we left the wine there for 1 year. After that, all the wine inside goes out. And then we go for the last step, which is the Solera. In our Solera, what we do is we take out only the 10% of the wine inside the barrels and go for bottling. And in this 10% space, we refill with the wine coming from the pre-Solera and before the demi-jones. So the wine mixes with the previous vintages, and the first vintage there was in 1942. Oh. So it's almost 80 years. So it's this is our system. It's like our grandparents did. This is the same every year for all these decades. It's a very special Solera.
Thank you so much, Ángeles. They were amazing information about Verdejo. So just to mention, guys, if you're looking to find the wines from Bodegas de Alberto, you can find them in Ireland in O'Brien's Wines. So it's the same place as you may find the Bodegas Riojanas. So it is the same retailer O'Brien's Wines. So thanks again, Ángeles. Now we are turning to Noelia Callejo. Hello, Noelia. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly.
Hello, how are you?
Thank you very much. So Noelia is the winemaker of Bodegas Felix Callejo. So she will be talking about Albillo Mayor and Tinto Fino. Over to you, Noelia.
Hello, thank you. Well, we are in Ribera del Duero. We are Bodegas Felix Callejo, and we are in a village called Sotillo de la Ribera. Sotillo de la Ribera is in Burgos province, in the north part of the Duero Valley, Duero River. So we are in one of the highest point in Ribera del Duero. So well, we have very different soils, and in particular with Albillo Mayor, we normally work. We have the vineyard in the plateau, that we call here páramos. That means that this vineyard, El Lebrero, is at 920 meters high. So we are quite high, and also we have mainly limestone for this kind of in this kind of plateaus, no? So well, we are a family winery. As an introduction of the winery, we are a family winery. Right now we are the second generation running this amazing project that started our parents in 1989. I'm winemaker, and Jose Felix is my brother, and we are winemakers. Both we are winemakers too. And well, our both we have experience abroad in Jose Felix in France, and also in Chile, and I have experience in California and in Argentina. And well, this experience give us the at least the capacity of understand our landscape, because it's very important for us to understand where we are, the different soils, the diversity that we have, and then trying to put in the bottle, no? So well, since 2000 we are organic, so we don't use chemical products, and so we use everything. We work under organic methods. And well, our winery is made up by 27 different vineyards. We only work with our vineyards. And as I told you, well, we are in the north part of the valley of Duero River. So Duero River is about 20 kilometers south from our village, Sotillo. And we are in a very borderline, because the next village is not from Ribera del Duero, because start the huge plateaus that we have in Castilla. That means that this border area, we have very different soils. So we can work with these different soils, no? So that means that, for example, at the plateaus, normally we have limestone. Then as we go down, we can have gravel or clay, and a mix of clay and sandy, no? And the lowest part, that is at 820 and 30 meters, we have mainly clay, no? So we have a lot of diversity. So well, focusing in Albillo Mayor. Albillo Mayor is our white local variety, and well, it's local variety because it's been present here in Ribera del Duero since always, no? And normally, the people used to put in the same vineyard with Tempranillo, Garnacha, and other different varieties, Spanish varieties like Bobal, or well, very different varieties. We used to produce wines that we call now field blend, because normally when our ancestor pick the grapes, they go to the vineyard and they pick all the grapes all together, and they ferment all together, Tinto Fino, Albillo Mayor, Garnacha, everything all together, no? And normally the result was a wine that we call in Ribera del Duero clarete. That means, well, traduction could be clear, no? Because it wasn't red, it wasn't white, it was in the middle, no? And we call clarete. So in our winery, we use Albillo Mayor for 3 different wines. One is for El Librero, that is a single, well, it's only from Albillo Mayor, so it's a white, yeah, it's our white wine. Also for our clarete called Viña Pilar, it's a blend of the Tinto Fino, 50%, and 50% Albillo Mayor.
I had that too.
Piña Pilar, yeah, our
You
clarete.
can see the color here.
Yeah, it's our aging clarete. And also we use for our red cold parajes with a 5% with Tinto Fino that co-ferment. And well, now in the next, from 2020, in parajes, we start to blend and co-ferment. So Tinto Fino, Garnacha, and Albillo Mayor. So, well, Albillo Mayor, it's our local variety, and as I told you, it's been here since always. And also it has a parent relation with Tempranillo. We don't know exactly, as well, you can read that Albillo Mayor and with another one is the mother or father of Tempranillo, but it's not clear. But they have a DNA parentship. No? And well, it's a very well adapted variety to Ribera del Duero. In fact, well, yesterday we just finished harvest. So
congratulations.
Yeah, I'm very, well, I'm tired.
You must be very tired. I was just gonna say that.
Yeah, but we are very happy. And we are very relaxed at this moment.
Oh, that's good.
So it's nice to have a chat with you.
Oh, thank you. It's
so
great
it's very well adapted to this region. In fact, well, it's indigenous from here. And the cycle of the Albillo Mayor is very similar to Tempranillo. So normally we harvest at the same time. In fact, well, we have the blend for parajes, and it co-ferments all together. So it's at the same time. And well, also for us is very unique. We start to produce only white wine since 2012, because here in Ribera del Duero has been present always, but it wasn't allowed to produce a white wine with Albillo Mayor. No, well, you can do it, but you can put Ribera del Duero, no. But Jose Felix and I, we wanted to produce an aging white wine. So we say that well, Albillo Mayor is our treasure. Is unique in the world. I mean, you can only find here in Ribera del Duero, well, in Castilla y León, and well, we decided to push for Albillo Mayor. So we start to produce a white wine since 2012, and until 2019 it wasn't allowed to put Ribera del Duero, but since 2019 is Dio Ribera del Duero. No? So we are very, very happy that the appellation decided to put in value this unique, this treasure that we have, because it's only a few vineyards that we have here in Ribera del Duero. I hope that decision makes that Albillo Mayor start to be more present in the wines, and because it's indigenous variety. And well, I think it has a good food future, no, for the region. Well, the way of making El Lebrero, that is our Albillo Mayor wine, is like a red, more or less. No, we make a skin contact. 1/3 of the wine ferment with the skins, all the process. So it's like the reds with the skins present during all the fermentation, and the rest of the wine it ferments in a concrete egg, and a part in barrels, big barrels, French oak, And then after, when the skins finish the fermentation, go to the big barrels and keep in contact with the lees for 8 months. So it's for us, El Lebrero is an aging wine. So always we always think about this variety as a gastronomic wine, no, with a lot of future. In fact, we keep some bottles every year. We keep some bottles for every vintage because we have some restaurants that they prefer to have the old vintages for their special menus. And it's amazing the potential of this variety, how can grow in the bottle and the evolution of this amazing variety. So yes, we are very, very proud to have this treasure, and we are so lucky to have it. So yes, we are very happy to show to the rest of the world.
Very nice. Yeah. Thank you, Noelia. Just wondering that you mentioned that you're aging for some time in the like larger oak barrels, as you mentioned, few months. Do you also age in much smaller volumes of barrels? Just the larger sizes?
Yes. Even for the reds, for parajes, also we use big barrels.
Big barrels. You don't want too much of the oak kind of influence?
No, we don't want. In fact, we use special barrels in the case of El Lebrero for the white one. We use special barrels for the whites. I mean, it's a special because it hasn't had the toast. No?
Yes, yeah.
So it's made with water, so yes, it doesn't flavorate the wine. So that's what we want, the evolution of, but not the flavor of the wood.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. And I have another question actually. So you mentioned since 2012, the DO Ribeira del Duero has allowed Albillo Mayor to be used in the domination as a white variety. Are there any other white varieties they allow, or is it the only white now at the moment?
Well, it's only Albillo Mayor.
Albillo Mayor.
But great. It's allowed since 2019.
19, sorry, not 12.
Yes,
all right, 2019.
Yes. Yes. At this moment, well, I think the indigenous and the local variety that has always been here and is well adapted to this area because it has the very similar cycle of Tempranillo is Albillo Mayor.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
That was very, very interesting. So just to mention, guys, if you're looking for some wines from Bodegas Felix Callejo, you can find them at Corkscrew Wine Merchants. So they are the importer. So it's located in Dublin, but also they sell it in a few other shops. So I will again send you the list at the end. So thanks again, Noelia.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Now we will have Albert Jane, who is the owner, welcome Albert, and winemaker of Acústic Cellar. So he'll be talking about Carignana and Garnacha. So welcome again, Albert. So we can't wait to hear things that you're going to mention to us. Oh, I think you're muted, so you can unmute maybe yourself. There should be a button where is your, all right, perfect. Yeah, I think we are able to hear you now.
Thank you very much for this nice Zoom meeting. It's a pleasure to join with all the producers and all of us. We are, well, we still haven't finished the harvest. We'll finish next week.
Oh.
And well, we have 3 projects, Montsant, Priorat and Tarragona. All of them based in local grapes, in indigenous varieties. Well, I'm Albert Jané. I'm the owner and winemaker of Acústic Celler in Montsant and Ritme Celler in Priorat. And I always, well, I'm also a wine lover, so I love wine. I buy wines from all over the world. and I'm always looking wines which express, you know, emotional wines, wines with character, identity, which show the history, the character of the area. And I think the best way, or the only way to do this, is working with indigenous grapes, with local grapes. Okay, it's easier and is the most well, transparent, the better way to do this. You can make beautiful wine with any grape in the world. Okay, and perfection in the winery, in the wine business, for me, at least for me as a wine lover, is a wonderful thing, because I'm tired of perfect design wines with makeup from the barrel, you know, this kind of stuff. I'm always looking for exciting, emotional wines. And in our case, I'm very, very lucky to work in Montsant and Priorat, which are two small appellations in Catalonia area in Spain, in northeast coast of Spain. And they are very small. Montsant is around 2,200 hectares, 6-7 million bottles of production in all the appellation. Priorat is even a little bit smaller, just 4 or 5 millions of bottles and less than 2,000 hectares. And well, it's wonderful because these wines are based with Garnacha and Carignana grapes. Some producers started to plant Cabernets, Merlots, Syrah, etc. But normally they fail because the areas are, the weather is so extreme, so hot, so dry, that these grapes, if you go to Bordeaux, for example, you realize that the weather is completely different. The soils are completely different because are richer. So in our area in Montsant, we have clay, sandy, poor soils, stony soils. And in Priorat, we have the beautiful Licorella, slate soil, with a lot of, you know, sloping hills vineyards. And they suffer a lot. We have very low average yield production, and they suffer a lot. And Garnacha and Carignana are the best adapted grapes in the areas. Okay, and we always, young people, we have to learn more about the old vine growers who were cultivating Garnacha and Carignana, and thanks to them, they kept beautiful for 50, 60, 70, 80 years old vineyards that now we are easily enjoying them. Okay. In our case, in Acústic Celler, the name of Acústic is just an example of what I'm explaining now. Acoustic wines, unplugged wines, unplugged music is more simple, but is more authentic, more emotional. You know, it goes directly to your heart. It explains better what people are singing. For me, acoustic wines is the same. So from the very first beginning in Acústic Celler that I started in 2004 in Montsant, buying with my save 1.5 hectares of beautiful Garnacha planted in 1932. I've been able to develop this project, and now we have 45 hectares of all vineyards of Garnacha and Carignana that we cultivate in organic, and we just finished building a new cellar in Acústic Celler, okay, but always based on local grapes, okay, just Garnacha, Carignana, white Garnacha, a little bit of Macabeo, Pansal, which is the local name of Xarel·lo in the area for white wines, you know, but this kind of grapes. And in Priorat, that we started Ritme Celler. Ritme also means rhythm, you know, rhythm, looking for the rhythm of Priorat. It's also based on Garnacha and Carignana, with the typicity of the amazing and deep, singular Licorella slate soil that makes the wines a little bit darker, more mineral, more spiritual. No? It's amazing that, you know, well, Montsant is just surrounding Priorat. Priorat is in the center, so the two appellations are just one surrounding the other. One, in my case, one cellar to the other is only 20 kilometers, but it's amazing how different the wines are. And Montsant wines are more friendly, fruitier, well, opener wines, more, you know, not easy, but they are rich, with a lot of power, but easier. And Priorat, they are always darker, more emotional, more spiritual, with more texture in the mouth because of the slate soil. It's like if you were drinking a piece of rock, you know, a piece of slate, you know, a piece of Licorella. And Garnacha, well, is a beautiful, we say, is the princess of the grapes, the princess of the varieties. Is an amazing, fruity, juicy, with a nice tension, with a nice, well, freshness. Sometimes it can be 17 alcoholic degrees and fresh and fruity. Amazing, amazing. Okay. And Carignana is a little bit, well, not the opposite, but it's different. It's stronger, bigger, more black fruitiness, and then Garnacha is more red, a slight more delicate fruitiness. And Cariñena is like the backbone of the wine. I always say Cariñena make Garnacha bigger, stronger, and Garnacha make Cariñena more balanced, more, you know, more delicate, and both make a great team together. Okay. In our case, normally we blend both grapes. We're making, for example, in Acústic, which is 70% Cariñena, 30% Garnacha. We are making Brao, which is a beautiful, I have a bottle here, which is a beautiful, from 60 to 95 years old, 80% Cariñena, 20% Garnacha. We are making Auditori in Montsant, which is 100% Garnacha. In the label, we say all magic vinyas of Garnacha, because we feel they are magic, because it's like a symphony of pleasure, an act of fruitiness, you know. It's wow, it's a wonderful deepness of classic music, you know, I mean, amazing, auditorium. And in Priorat, we have Rhythm, which is also based on more Cariñena and Garnacha. Plaer, which is pleasure. I have a bottle of Plaer here also. Plaer, people dancing here, you know, it's a little bit also.
Like the label.
There's a label, yeah, of Plaer.
It's very nice.
Pleasure. But it's a very serious, very rich, very deep wine. And well, and it's wonderful, it's amazing. We suffer a lot taking care of the vineyards because they suffer a lot, but it's amazing how they resist most of the years, because it's dry, it's hot, they resist, and they give us a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful fruit that the only thing we can do in the cellar is spoil it if we don't work correctly. But we always say when you harvest, the quality is there, and it's not only about the quality, it's also about the personality, the identity, the character. Okay, I don't like drinking so wines. I like drinking amazing personal singular wines, you know. Before than drinking an easy wine, I drink a nice beer, you know, at least myself. Okay, so I'm in love, as you can see, with Garnacha and Cariñena. Okay, I also have another project in Tarragona that I'm working with a red grape called Sumoy. That was one of the best in Tarragona and in Catalonia area, and it's completely the opposite style. It's low color, low alcoholic graduation, and I also love it. So it's like, if you like classic music, you can also like blues or jazz, you know, or you have the time. It's like food, no? You can like Japanese food, meat, barbecues, whatever, you know. So wine is the same. So what I'm looking always for, character, personality, and if, well, I feel the luckiest man in the world enjoying these vineyards, the 45 hectares we have in Acústic in Montsant, 16 hectares in Ritme in Priorat, and 25 hectares in my other project, Autochthon. In fact, the name of the project is called Autochthon, means autochthon, indigenous, so because it's based only in Sumoy, Xarel·lo, Malvasí de Sitges. So as you can see, I'm an indigenous wine lover, because well, they are the grapes that express much better all the history, all the character, and all the singularity. Okay, I don't know, I hope you understand a little bit about our area. Okay, and on Priorat, it's amazing how people survive there in the past, you know, in the after the phylloxera in Priorat. Before phylloxera disease, there were 17,000 hectares, and now in Priorat the population is just 10-15% of the quantity it used to be before phylloxera disease. So imagine how tough it was. Also, after the civil war in Spain, the 40s, the 50s was, and in fact now this is one of the poorest areas in Catalonia, in our area. So it's a very poor countryside area, but we are very rich because we have the nice heritage, the nice quantity of these old grapes, that thanks to the old vine growers who resist in the 40s, the 50s, the 60s. Now people like me, we are able to enjoy. I have some vineyards which are almost 100 years old, from 1920, 1925, you know, and it's crazy that we can enjoy them. Okay, and in the cellar, what we do, as less you do in the cellar, better. Okay, so we use, I always say, the best barrel is the barrel you don't taste. I hate wines with makeup from the barrel, you know. I'm looking for purity, you know, and then we use big barrels, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years old barrels. We also have big egg cements, also amphoras, also 5,000 footres, wooden footres tanks. 1,500. So big, big tanks that makes the wine aging, like a kid that you leave him, her, well, do whatever you want, age yourself in your style. The wine's the same, normally all of our wines, at least they have 1 year of aging in this kind of recipients, barrels, big barrels, foudres, eggs, amphoras, and depending on the year, we decide from one or the other, okay? And looking for purity and looking for making vineyard wines, fruity, juicy wines. I will love after the harvest, when all the wines are fermented, when you taste, you say, wow, what a nice fruitiness, wow, what a nice purity, freshness. I would love to bottle wine at that moment and sell and send to everybody in the world, but it's difficult, no? If you age in a very balanced way with a lot of respect during a year, the color, the wine become more stable, and then it can last more time in bottle. Okay. So, well, this is our life and our whole job we have, making wine in Monsanto.
That's amazing. Yeah. So it's so nice to hear, like some varieties I never heard of before. Like you mentioned, it was a Samuel.
Sumoy,
yes. Yeah. So
well, I don't know if you see my hands there a little bit. We were harvesting Sumoy just today.
Oh, that's very nice. I'm really looking forward to taste that sometime. I don't know if it's available yet in Ireland, but yeah, I'm a big fan of, I think, trying, tasting, indigenous varieties, because it brings diversity, it brings more, the locality, and so, because if you don't produce, if you don't drink them, they will be forgetting. So that's why I think they're really, really important. So there are a few questions here, Albert, for you, if you don't mind. So Rose says that, can you explain about your white wines, please? And is it hard achieving balance in white wines that can reach 15% alcohol? Is global warming becoming an issue? So.
You mean the change in the winemaking because of the global warming?
Yes, so like when you're producing varieties that can reach up to 15% already, so it's already high, and with the global warming, do you think that will be an issue? So it pushes much up higher, over 15% with the global warming in the future.
I label all my wines in Monsanto, they are 15. And label as 15 alcoholic degrees, but they don't are, at least they can have 15 and a half alcoholic graduation, but you don't taste them alcoholic. Not my wines in general in the area, because they are very rich, very intense, and alcohol is also concentration of sugar, so it's the way it is. But what is true, for example, in my case, I like a lot Cariñena in lower altitude, okay, because Cariñena is a long late harvest grape, and I think it resists more the hydric stress and the warm and hot vintages, okay? And I prefer Garnacha, which is more delicate in high altitude or north faces, where the ripening goes slowly. Because if not, you can harvest a Garnacha green, but with 17 or 17.5 alcoholic degrees, okay? And this with global warming, it seems, well, I started in the area Monsanto in 2003, and well, I think GA is different. In general, there is average quality and average character very strong and very consistent, but you have years which is more extreme, that the hydric stress, you have to harvest earlier, the wines are more concentrated with higher alcoholic graduation. Some years that are a little bit balanced, but for us balance is also 15, because Garnacha also give a lot of alcohol, Garnacha especially, and all Cariñenas, the Cariñenas we have in our cellar, which are in general 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 years old, they are also low yield and small berries and a small grapes, and they also have a lot of sugar, so also high alcoholic concentration. But I will say in general, well, the challenge, we are used to hot vintages in Priorat and Monsanto already, but I think it's more for the global warming is because of some periods of dryness, you know, that we don't have a lot of rainfall, especially in spring, and then the vineyards arrive to dry it and to dry in the harvest moment. But well, I think it's looking for higher altitudes, for also concerning the vineyards work, leaving more leaf, which protect more the grape in a shadow, they understand, instead of taking so much leaf out. So while I think we have to learn a little bit about how to protect our grapes, I mean the fruit, from the shadow, from the high temperatures, you understand, and well, yeah, and each vineyard is different depending on the soil. If the soil is richer, it will resist better in hot vintages. If the soil is poor and the vineyard is very old, it can resist also better, because the old vineyards, they have the roots very deep and they always look for some humidity. I think in our case in Monsanto period, we are used to not global warming, but in general to dry and hot vintages, you know. So I think we will do our best, and you know, in our areas, Monsanto period, the vineyard is from 250 meters to 700, 800 meters. So we can also look for planting in higher areas that for the moment is not very, there's not a lot of vineyards plantation. Okay.
So Rose is also asking that when will you have certification for your organic wines? So are you looking into getting any certification, or you're like not really interested? What is your opinion on that?
Vineyards, the 45 hectares we have in our Acústic Montsant, the 16 hectares we have in Ritme Celler Priorat, and the 25 hectares we have in Autòcton Celler in Tarragona, we work all of them in organic. Organic is not a choice, it's the only way.
Yeah. Are you looking to get any certification for it, or?
Of course, we have. Well, you can see the.
Oh, there are certificates.
Yeah, we start. Well, it takes 3-4 years, and then, but it's the only way. I will love being able to buy all my food from me, from my family, organic. I will pay, of course, more, or if it's necessary, if not, but organic. And for the wine, the same. And also, vine growers, if you take care of a vineyard and you love animals and you love the environment and you love the landscape and you love, you cannot spread a chemical product that kills all the grass and everything, you know. Working organic give more, you have to work more, you have to remove the grass instead of you know, spreading herbicides, which is very easy. You have to remove the grass, ploughing with the tractor, ploughing with the mule, with the horse, by hand, with the rototiller, with the mowing machine. You know, it's more expensive and it's a lot of more work, but it's the only way. It's the only way to protect that vineyard, to protect the health of everybody, and to protect the health of the people who are working in the vineyards also, you know. Because in the past, all vine growers used to use a lot of chemical products, and maybe after years of using that chemical products, they also had some disease, you know, so some cancer or some disease like this. So organic is the only way. And in the future, in 15, in 40, 50, 60 years, there will be no discussion. Or most of the wines in the world, I hope and I expect, will be organic.
Thank you so much, Albert. That was very nice to hear you, and also best of luck with the rest of the harvest. So yeah, I hope you have a
bottle of Sumoy.
Yes, yeah, I will try that. Really looking forward to trying that. So if you guys are interested in finding Albert's wine, you can find them in different shops in Ireland. So Antonia's Wines is the importer of Albert's wines, and also few shops around Dublin will be like Blackrock Wine Cellars, Pinto, Redmond in Ranelagh, and Clontarf Wines will be few other places selling. Sorry?
Yeah, Bubble Brothers in Cork.
Bubble Brothers, yeah. So I will send a list later on for all attendees. That could be tomorrow maybe, so they can look for those wines. So Mariana says, cannot wait to taste Albert's Acústic. That's very nice. So if you guys have any other questions, we can take 3 more other questions. If not, yeah, if you have any questions. Yeah, if not, so that's all the time we have.
No, I've got, sorry, Sefi?
Please, yes, babe.
It's interesting to listen to the conversation because Alberto is going on about Cayena. In Rioja, this is Mazuelo.
Yes.
So it's the thing is, what is interesting for anyone that's going to listen onto this afterwards is to realise that there are very huge similarities for all the regions. So in Rioja, Mazuelo is around about 3% of the total red grapes grown. Garnacha is around about 7.5%. In the whole of Rioja, 75% of all the vineyards are Tempranillo. So it's, but when you go along, and if you're in, you've got Tinta de Toro, Tinta de Payas, Tinta Fino, and the consumers are more latching on to Tempranillo as a name, which is one thing.
Even.
Well, no, it's, you've got to think that within Spain, 28 of the DOs, Tempranillo is the main red grape. 12, it's classified as the main grape to be used in the wines. So it's as a grape for what, nearly 1,000 years throughout Spain, it's spread in the same ways that Cayena is Mazuelo. You've got something in the region, I think, of about 10 or other different names for the grape in Spain. You've got 17 terms for Tempranillo. Mazuelo's got about 20. Graciano, which we use in Rioja again, is native, so that's fairly okay. But when we're looking at grape varietals, then Spain has a huge range of varietals. So if I look at Rioja briefly, okay, Tempranillo is the main grape. So for us in Riojanas and for O'Brien's, the major wine we produce is Montreal. It's 100% Tempranillo. It comes from somewhere called the Royal Mount, which is outside Cenicero, and that's where most of our vineyards are. So we get to name the wine after the hill. We also have the highest plantings in the outer for Mazuelo and Graciano, although when you think the numbers are very low, 3% and 2% roughly for the whole of Rioja, then again, the people don't realise that all these little wines, these blends that were made up, enhance the whole body of the wine. So when you're looking at food, especially, you're only actually doing 2 things. You're either looking at the acidity of the wine, or you're going to be looking at the richness of the wine as to which way around it works with food. So acidity cleans the palate, richness tends to go with meats. And Spanish wines have this absolute affinity, whether it's seafood, whether it's lamb, whether it's pork, whether it's pheasant, wild boar. Each region, and within each region, there are superb wines that consumers can go over and try or find on the shelves. And I think that's what every winery in Spain works for. I've never come across any of my Spanish colleagues that find their job is a chore. They love what they talk about. They love the wines they produce. And there's only one thing we all look at, and it's improving the quality every year. So it doesn't matter if you improve it 0.1% or 1%. Every year you're looking to how you improve the juice, the vineyards, what you can do to enhance everything, how you can make the vineyards, as Albert said, organic. Now, we're not in that stage where we declare our wines organic. We are vegan and we are green. So again, we do a lot of organic processes, so we don't use herbicides and pesticides. But what's important to us is that the wines we produce, whether it's Rioja, whether it's Rías Baixas or Monterrey or Bierzo, Rueda, Ribera, it's the best we can produce with what we have, using talented winemakers, talented oenologists, and people that care about the vineyards. That's what makes the wine. That's what makes Rioja, Ribera, Rueda. It makes all of those regions their separate selves, They're independent styles. And it makes Spain a huge, great, wonderful country in terms of the wines it produces. And I think people don't understand that enough.
Yeah, thank you, Jay. Yeah, I think with the time goes on, I think people trying to discover new regions, new varieties. So I believe, you know, smaller regions or more indigenous varieties will be getting more known by people. That's all I can be wishing for. But thank you so much for all really amazing information. That was brilliant. So thank you guys. If we have no other questions, that's all the time that we have for this evening. Thank you so much, and special thanks to our speakers, Dave, Ángeles, Mar, Albert, and Noelia. So thanks so much for joining us today. It was amazing. So it's great that Noelia, you finished the harvest yesterday. You were together with us today. And Albert, wishing you the best of luck with the rest of the harvest. I hope you have a brilliant harvest. So thank you guys so much. We have just quick here a comment by Mariana, just a quick comment. Spanish wine is the best value for money you can get. Amazing quality. Thanks and cheers. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. That's amazing. Thank you guys again so much.
Thank you. Cheers.
Hope to visit you sometime in Spain, hopefully.
Thank you.
You'll be welcome.
Have a good night. Good evening, everyone. Bye.